Hi everyone, how you doing? Great to see you all again. So if you're new to the channel, you won't know that Gary and I have just moved to Spain about, 3 months ago now? Yeah. And so this series that we're doing, we're normally a van life channel. This series covers our life of living in Spain and all of the things that happen when you're trying to move to Spain, whether that be your residency, your medical, all of that, plus what happens in a day-to-day life. So last week and this week, we've had a very interesting week, haven't we?
It's been enlightening.
It has been enlightening because we learned quite a lot about our medical coverage, didn't we, that we didn't realise.
Yes.
And we'll go into that a little bit later. But also, we have a bit of a harvest. So lots of things were made, weren't they? Not necessarily perfectly, but they were made. And also, I had to go and get my new glasses. If you'll remember from last time, we went to Outbox and I went to go and get my eyes tested. Well, of course, I needed some new glasses. But on the way there, I discover I'm married to a celebrity. Check this out. So we're heading back up to Outbox to pick up my new glasses. And I've realised I'm married to the male version of Gillian McKeith. Because he's just said to me, I was just saying, I've seen the males for a bit round the garden. And he said, oh, they're still there because their droppings are there. And I was like, right, well, how do you know it's theirs? So well, it's a bit big for a pigeon, which I thought fair enough. But then he said, and I hope you're not eating your dinner, he said, you can tell it's theirs because it's got hair and stuff in from where they've been eating mice. Absolutely disgusting. I can't believe he's looked that closely. So.
They're quite big.
All right, Gillian. So we picked up the new glasses and oh my God, I've not even worn them yet. I've had them for a week, but I haven't been feeling that well last week. And honestly, I feel like I'm on a psychedelic trip. It's horrible. So I've been told I've got to give them a little while to get used to, but it feels like 3D. Everything's, So Gary's lunging at me as usual.
From across the room, apparently.
But sticking with the subject of Popalops, I had a little bit of a joke on Gary this week. Can you believe they're still together? Can you? After all the shit you put them through.
Who's together?
Your butt cheeks. I just heard that joke on TikTok. Isn't that ridiculous?
Oh, very funny.
So you may remember that Gary took a right old fall in the pool, didn't you? And hurt his leg and his foot. And it wasn't getting any better, was it?
No. I thought I'd do a bit of home physio on it. It's got better, but it's still not right. So
we thought, right, we'll head up to the doctors. So that's what we did. And that's when we discovered something that was really quite annoying, wasn't it? Good morning. So we're on our way to Murcia City because that's where our doctors is. Now, if you go to live in Spain, even if you can get your residency, you're going to have to pay for your medical care, at least for the first year. And now for us too, for private medical care, it's around about €200 a month with Sanitas. And we're both sort of just over 55. So it gives you a ballpark of what you could expect to pay. Oh, that was a bit of an eye-opener, wasn't it, Gary?
Just a bit.
So turns out, even though we've paid well in excess of £2,500 for the year, for the two of us, and you have to pay a year in advance, that it doesn't cover having an MRI or an X-ray by the look of it, does it?
Nope.
Which is a pain in the arse. So Gary can't get his leg looked at and I can't get my knee looked at when I took a bloody fall. However, I've got to see a specialist about this that keeps swelling around here, and they've given me an appointment for next week. So that seems to be covered, thankfully. That's something covered. But it's a bit frustrating because I think we've selected the wrong thing. Dare I say it? We've been sold up. So, of course, when we got back from the medical centre, we were really unsure of what our policy covered. So Gary phoned them up, didn't you, the next day? And what did they say?
I did. And basically what they said was it's Spanish law that relates to policies. And that's every private medical policy that you can buy. So you can't buy ones out with this. Mm-hmm. And effectively what it says is for the first 6 months, you can't have various procedures. Mm-hmm. And for the first 300 days, you can't have surgery. Or that's not covered by the policies.
Exactly. So now by certain procedures, what type of procedures do you mean in the first 6 months you're not allowed to have?
Right. So it's the major analysis. So MRIs like you can't have. X-rays, I found out that you can have because they're fairly minor. Blood work and that sort of stuff, that's all minor. But anything major, 6 months, forget it.
Now, we didn't realise that. So if you are moving to Spain and you are buying a policy, you will be expected, if you're going to get residency, to have paid for your policy for the year. It seems that is a new sort of system. They want you to pay for the year.
Yeah.
Now, I got my residency on an Irish passport, but I still had to have a year's worth of medical cover. And as I said, we paid about €2,500, didn't we, for the medical cover for the year. But be warned, you're not going to get what you think you're going to get. So in the end of the day, Gary, you did manage to get an X-ray, didn't you?
I did.
Luckily, we found that nothing was broken, was it?
Yeah, no fractures, no breaks, so it's definitely tendon damage.
So Dr. Zhivago here had got it right, because he wouldn't go to a doctor for ages because he was self-diagnosing. But in fairness, you were right, weren't you?
I've done this before, unfortunately.
When we headed out of the doctors, we did do something quite fun, didn't we?
We did.
We headed up to Cottrell to pick up a bike. And this is what happened. We're going off to pick up a bike, aren't we? Well, it's a trike. And I don't know whether you saw our video on Cottrell. Well, we did a house sit down there a few months back. And we did say to the guys, if you're ever selling that trike, give us a shout. Well, lo and behold, they're selling it. So guess who's going to be the new owners of a trike bike? That'll probably end up just hanging my coat up or something. But anyway, we just stopped by a restaurant in Cottrell. There's a great big bull's head here. Gary, you look really chuffed to see it.
I may have eaten it. Family.
Okay, right, this is really not going to do as well. We've ordered off the menu del dia, but we don't really know what we've ordered, do we?
We kind of think
we think we do.
What's the guess?
Well, the starter was a choice of egg on a plate, but we don't know whether it's just... We're not quite sure what it is, or there was some fish, but we didn't know what it was. And I don't really fancy fish, did you?
No.
And we know the second was, it looks like ribs, one of them, and it looks like chicken for the other one. So I've gone for the chicken, and Gary's gone for what he thinks is some sort of rib. But we don't know. Brilliant. And we've got a salad coming out already. I think the menu del dia is about €12. That's usually the going rate. And so we got a little salad given to us. This is quite usual. Usually they have a bit of tuna in it as well. It looks quite nice. So here's our starter, and this is eggs on a plate. Looks like some sort of meat, which I'm probably going to pass over to Gary. But they look like nice little eggs, don't they? Yeah. It's actually really nice. It's really tasty, isn't it?
Like eggs and bacon.
Egg and bacon as a starter. What's not to love? Here's our main. And it's okay, chicken and chips, and Gary's got steak and chips. I kind of wish I'd got Gary's now, because I don't really like chicken wings. Okay, well, still nice though. No, I won't swap, but why don't we share? So our verdict, it's not the best one we've ever had, is it? Menu del dia.
No.
Gary's had most of my chicken because I don't really like chicken on the bone. And he gave me a bit of his steak, which was really good. I have to say the steak was good, wasn't it? But it was just all right. And to be honest, for the money, it's quite cheap. So the bill's here. We had a coffee as well. And it is a grand total of €22. So it's a bit of a bargain, to be honest, isn't it, Gary? €11 each for menu del dia. Can't go wrong. So Gary's just called me outside. He's made the bike up. I'm going to have a little ride. So here it is. I'm really excited. Look at it. Isn't she gorgeous? I am now the proud owner of a trike. Okay, let me test it. Do I need to do anything with it?
No, that's fine.
Oh, Gary, riding along on my bush bike, honey. Oh, it's really good. Oh, I can't stop wait. Need to learn how to do that. So this week we've had a right glut of produce in the garden, haven't we?
Just a bit.
So I thought, right, what can I make with all of this stuff? And this is what I came up with.
This one's a Californian palm, and it's a fan palm. And I read this morning that these berries or fruits, whatever you want to call them, that are hanging off, they are also edible. So I think the dark ones are ready. We're going to harvest them too and have a look at those.
God, I don't want to do what Gary's doing. He's got a ladder going up here. You're going to have to be careful going up there, Gary. That's miles up. Do you want me to hold it? I think I should. Wait. Okay, so here's the fruit close up. They're quite small berries, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, they're supposed to be edible.
Okay, let's give that a go.
Oh, God, you were going to eat it straight away. Let's go wash it first. Has it got a stone in?
Yeah, the stone's almost as big as the fruit.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. What does it taste like?
Oh, wow.
It's like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. It's going through layers. Like
Yeah.
What is it? What's it?
That's the stone. So that's the.
Oh, you've dropped it on the floor. So what does it actually taste like?
It tastes like a date.
Oh, does it?
It really does taste like a date.
So I'm wondering if I can make a bit of a jam out of it, but there's not a lot here. There is loads up there, though, isn't there?
Thousands.
Got all these little palm dates for palm fruits, really. So you just really rub them off the fronds like this. Just rub them off, and I'm rubbing them off into a little glass bowl, and I'll clean them all up. I've got all the berries in a bowl, and I'm going to do a bit of quality control. There's a couple of green ones that are obviously not ripe. I'm just going to pick them out. Then I'm going to give it a good old clean. And then I'm thinking about making some syrup or jelly with it. My go-to for cleaning is bicarbonate of soda. So I'm just going to put some of that in the bowl. Give it a good old mix up. Oh, I managed to get it all over the top, but that's me all over. Now, it's pretty difficult to be able to get recipes for these little palm fruits. But I found something for some syrup, so I'm going to try that, and it's as good as a sugar substitute. So what I put is 20 ounces of these little fruits, which is pretty much all I've got, and about 5 cups, or about just over 2 pints of water. You're basically wanting double the quantity, and I'm going to put this on for a slow cook. Okay, so my syrup's been sitting overnight, just covered. I'm going to pop it back in the pan on a low heat, and I'm going to give it another heat up for another hour or so. I'm also going to think about adding a little bit of lemon juice to make it a little bit more syrupy. So it's really, really difficult to find any decent recipes with fan palm dates. They're only tiny, and the seed is nearly the whole thing. So I thought, what can I do? And I'd read that some people soak the berries, which I might do at another stage, and they soak them in alcohol. But I thought, what can I do with my syrup? So lo and behold, get the vodka out. So I ended up getting one of these like clipper bottles. I put my juice in. Half of it was basically the syrup that I'd made, and the other half was vodka. And I'm going to let this sit. Again, something for Christmas, I think. So that's all I could come up with for now. But if you do have any better ideas, let me know. Because actually, those little dates, even though they're not massive, they're brilliant for fibre. They give you sort of a really good source of carbohydrates and proteins, and they're high in vitamin A. But also, some people have dried them out in the past, and what they've done is they've dried them out and crushed them and then used the powder as flour. I'm really new to everything that's in this garden, but I really want to try and maximise what I can get out of it for free. One thing I learned quite recently is that these palm plants are actually edible. So what we're going to do today is Gary's going to pick them off in the bunches, the ones that we've got left, and I'm going to think about doing something with them. I'm not quite sure yet, as I'm really new to understanding, but we really love the idea of having some free food, don't we, Bab?
And there's lots of it around in this garden.
There seems to be, doesn't there? We really don't really know what we're doing, but Gary's going to pick these up, and I'm going to think of an idea to use them with these, because they're really prickly. That looks quite nice, that one. Careful, Bubba. It's like a bunch of flowers. Gary's showing his love for me. I've got 3 bunches of these. I'm going to need to clean them up first. And some of them are a bit dried out. But these ones, look, they're in really good condition. Now, most plants have some health benefits, and these little yucca flowers are no different. These have apparently got antibacterial and antiviral properties, and they're particularly good for joint pain or diabetes. Fantastic. So I put my flowers into a bowl of water. Now I popped a bit of bicarbonate of soda in just to keep them clean. And I'm going to pop the lid on this and put it into the fridge. So what I've read is just leave it in the fridge for about 12 hours and then repeat. So these have been soaking for a couple of days. And what I've done is I've taken a couple of them out. You see here, I've got them ready to prepare. And I'm going to fry them with my fish. I've just popped a bit of olive oil on my leaves. And I'm just going to add them to my fish, which has got ginger and garlic in as well. You'll see the leaves start to go a little bit translucent as they're frying up. But they look fabulous. I'm just going to let them cook in with this, and this will make a really lovely salad lunch. So they really cook down to a very small amount. It's very soft and subtle. And it tastes delicious. Try, Gary, see what you think of those. That's it. They've been fried up. What do you make of it?
They've got nice flavour.
Yeah, it's quite tasty, isn't it?
Nice, yeah.
So here we go. We're going to have a lovely bit of salad lunch now. So I'm going to can some of these pears. I've been reading online how to can them. And it seems that the first thing I've got to do is make sure that I peel these, clean these all up, and then I need to put them in an acidic bath. So I'm going to use a bit of lemon. So I've got some lemon from the garden in some water just to make sure that they don't go brown. So that's my first task. So I've put some lemon juice in some water here. I'm about to cut my pears up and pop my peeled pears in here. I'm probably going to put them in halves because they're only little. If you had big pears, you'd want to probably put them in quarters.
So I tell you what I learned recently, and I thought this was absolutely brilliant, is that pears really help boost your estrogen levels. Now, if like me, you're going through menopause, your estrogen levels lower. And there's lots of complications with that, not least to say like the boiling hot nights, you know, just feeling really uncomfortable. But these guys help to boost it. So I was right chuffed that there's a glut in my garden of
So
them.
I peeled and prepared the pears and put them in the mixture of lemon juice and water just to make sure they don't go brown. Now it's time to make a bit of syrup. So my jars will hold about a pint of water. So what I've done is I've put 3 pints of water in here. I'm going to pour 300 grams of normal granulated sugar into the water, azúcar as it's known in Spain, and I'm going to warm this up and let this sugar dissolve. So the sugar starts to dissolve, and then what you're left with is essentially a nice little thin syrup. There you go, look, it's nearly done. And I'm going to dunk my pears in here. Obviously, I'm going to remove them from this water into here for about 5 or 10 minutes to warm them up before we think about canning them. So I've just added a teaspoon of cinnamon and a teaspoon of mixed spice to my syrup because this is going to be sort of almost Christmas pears. It's already starting to smell sort of really autumny and lovely. So this will be beautiful in a couple of months' time. So I'll put my pears now into my spice syrup. I'm just going to give it about 5 minutes just to heat through, and then I'm going to get them in their jars. I've massively overestimated how many pears I've got. So I haven't got 3 jars worth, I've only got 2. And I've covered them in the syrup, and I'm going to seal them now with the lid and then just leave them to do their magic. There we go, spiced pears, ready for Christmas. So with the remainder of my yucca leaves, I've put them in some vinegar and water with some salt, and that's to pickle them. And I've filled them with the jar, and I've put a little bit of fennel seeds in actually. So I'm starting to feel like a right old Mother Hubbard, Gary.
Bit of a Martha Stewart.
Well, no, she's been in prison.
It's been great showing you around our house in Spain. But if you are missing our van life adventures, we will be going out with the van fairly soon, won't we, Gary?
We will.
We'll keeping mum about what we're doing, but there will be an adventure coming up soon. And if you haven't seen our back catalogue, there's loads on there. I'll leave a playlist for Route 66 as a bit of an example. We've spent 9 months in the States, so there is a lot to watch, isn't there? Yeah. Right, that's it for this week. It's to say thanks for watching, and don't forget to give us a like and maybe one of your hilarious comments. We have a right old laugh at the comments, don't we?
We do, that's so funny.
Oh, we just love hearing from you. Even if you've just enjoyed it, just say hi. We really like to hear from you. Until next time, guys, have a lovely week, won't you? Take care of yourselves. We love you loads. Take care. Bye.